In 2014, we all heard this.
The United States of America is changing its relationship with the people of Cuba.
But Cubans heard something else.
Porque tú no vas a salir a un sueño que no te hayan prometido.
A closing door, an end to their special status, and the race was on. How a 90-mile journey by sea became a 3,000-mile trip by land. Find Radio Ambulante on the NPR One app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello and welcome to Car Talk on National Public Radio with us, Click and Clack, the Tappert Brothers, and we're broadcasting this week from the Disappointment Tower here at Car Talk Plaza. Now, as you may have heard, my brother and I were again passed over by the Nobel Committee this year.
I can't understand this.
Once again, we did not win the most prestigious of all honors, the Nobel Prize for Greece.
Yeah. I mean, I figured we were shoo-ins for this prize. I even bought my ticket to Oslo. I bought it with the $800,000 I was planning to win. Is that what they get, $800,000?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Pretty impressive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to send those guys $40 each next year. I guess 20 wasn't enough of a payoff for those big shots in the Nobel Committee.
There are only 3 guys, you know.
Yeah?
Nobel Committee.
Well, Larry and Curly, right?
$60. That's $20 a piece. We got to go the whole way.
Yeah, we got to bump it up. I mean, $800,000 is, pretty good prize to win.
It is. I mean, we deserve it. I mean, we've done more to further Greece.
The Nobel Greece Prize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we pronouncing it right?
Maybe not. Maybe we've missed the concept. Anyway, speaking of award-winning.
Yeah.
You got any mail to read?
I have an award-winning letter here. Just one. Kevin Warburton from the fine city of San Antonio, Texas. Home of you-know-what. He sends us this letter, and it says, Messrs. Tom and Ray Magliozzi, a.k.a. Click and Clack, practicing Latin without a license.
Miss BS, huh?
Gentlemen, knowing nothing whatever about cars, I find your show truly informative. That's good. Now that the schmoozing is done, I write to clarify something raised on the broadcast I heard this past weekend. During your interrogation of a poor lady whose car was on fire or spitting blood or something, you mentioned, apropos of nothing, that certain Romance language masculine nouns take feminine articles and endings. Remember that, this discussion we had? Although you gave examples in Italian, French, and something that you said was Spanish, the prime illustration was agricola, the Latin word for farmer. Remember, we did mention that was masculine, even though it ends in
I didn't say that. No, it's just feminine. You said it was masculine.
It is masculine. It is masculine. Don't worry. Don't jump in here.
Agricolae?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you're right.
You said you did not know why this noun was an exception to the general rule that masculine nouns end in us in Latin, os, and o in most other Southern European languages. As someone who majored in classical languages in college, see, there's always an expert out there. I think I can shed some light on the question by telling you that the experts in this area have no idea. In the first declension of Latin nouns, which includes most of the words students pick up before dropping the class for PE, there are only four masculine nouns that employ feminine endings. You know what they are? Agricola is one. Poeta.
Oh.
Poet.
Sure.
Incola. I didn't know that one, which means inhabitant. And nauta.
Sailor.
As you may notice,
like that.
the acronym formed by these words is PAIN, a mnemonic device used by the kids who stay in the class until finals. While the National Endowment for the Humanities has spent somewhere around $147 million in research grants over the past several years to solve this particular problem, they do not yet have an answer, but there are some working hypotheses. 1. All ancient farmers, inhabitants, sailors, and poets were, in fact, women. That's why it ends in A. That allows you.
That's crummy.
2. Roman farmers, inhabitants, and sailors were secure enough in their masculinity to allow themselves to be called by feminine nouns, and poets didn't care. I like that one. 3. Grammar teachers in Rome were jealous of these people and confused their gender to get even. I first wrestled with this issue years ago when my middle school Latin teacher, a fine Italian man named Mario Ravella, used patience and electric shock to teach me a dead language. Although I still recite Kikero during lightning storms, I never solved the gender problem. Then again, Professor Ravella was also my driver's education instructor, and maybe that's why I don't know anything about cars either. I hope this letter has met your linguistic needs as fully as your program does my automotive ones. Just remember the words of the poet Ovid. Semper ubi sub ubi.
Yeah. Always, ubi is where.
Yes.
Always wear, what was the second part of it?
Sub.
Underwear. Always wear underwear.
You got it, man.
Anyway, if you'd like to talk to us, our number is 888-CAR-TALK. That's 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this
Hi.
is Cheryl in San Jose, California.
Okay, hold it. Cheryl in San Jose, and I would bet $100 if I had it that's with an S.
No.
I'd lose it. I said I would if I had it. So, look, it's with a C, huh?
That's right.
Or maybe with a PH. Cheryl, with a
From
C.
where? San Jose?
San Jose, California.
What's up, Cheryl?
I have an awesome 1970 Dodge Challenger SE.
Awesome, huh?
It's a beautiful car. It runs great. I had a problem. I was driving on the freeway, and all of a sudden this powerhouse just lost it. Didn't have any power. Just about stalled on the freeway. But I was getting off, so I got off the freeway, off the off-ramp, and when I got to the stop sign, it did stall. And I
Must be
thought,
the
oh my
computer,
God,
I think.
and it felt like
No, it's the catalytic converter.
I
I'm
looked
sorry.
at the temperature gauge, and it was getting hot, and so I got out of the car, and I opened up the hood, and it looked like there was chocolate pudding everywhere, all over the engine.
You were attacked by Willy Wonka. What do you mean chocolate pudding?
It looked like chocolate pudding. That's what it looked like.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so I had to have the car towed.
Mm-hmm.
And the mechanic, after taking my engine apart and cleaning out gallons of this pudding out of there,
Sludge.
tells me that a hole was etched into the timing gear cover and the antifreeze mixed with the oil, and that's what made the chocolate pudding.
Oh.
That's what he told me.
Oh, not chocolate. I'll tell you, it's probably more
Mocha.
more like mocha.
Mocha, I would call
Mocha?
it.
Yeah.
Isn't it more like mocha?
More like coffee colored, right?
Right,
And not chocolate.
Yeah.
right.
Oh, you so
And they told me that's what was wrong with it, and they fixed it, and it runs great.
they
Yeah.
fixed it. What do they charge you for that? $600.
No.
No, I don't know what it costs.
You don't know? You don't want to divulge it. Okay, you don't want
No, I
anyone to
really
know how
don't
much you
know.
spent on this heap.
I don't
huh?
know because my husband's my mechanic.
Ah, what a guy.
Yeah, I wouldn't let anybody else touch the car. But the problem is, ever since then, I have this noise, and it's very embarrassing. And it comes from the front of the car and just kind of fades into the wind. Do you want me to tell you what the noise is?
Yeah, of course. We love noises.
The noise starts with a bloop, 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 and then it whines and it goes. Now, you guys are the most creative automotive diagnosticians I've ever heard.
I'm glad
Now-
you said that because we have no idea. Wait,
Now,
stop. Don't
this
forget to
increase.
bloop, bloop, bloop,
If you can help me solve
We're going to. Be patient.
bloop,
this,
bloop,
if you
bloop.
can, I'll send you a picture of Sonja Henie.
So how does it end? Now, when this noise begins to
Well,
build,
no, when it builds, it goes up in pitch. Are you increasing the RPM of the engine?
No, the car is off. It's
Oh, the
when I turn it off or I come to a stop.
you come. So the car is not moving, and the
No.
engine either is running or is not running.
Either way,
Either way, and then you hear this noise with the engine not, with the car not moving.
right.
Bloop, bloop, bloop.
Yes.
And then what happens? It stops?
And then it just kind of fades off into the wind, and it stops.
No kidding.
No kidding.
Are you losing any antifreeze?
No.
Have you checked?
Yes.
Of course she's checked.
I know what it is.
What is it?
When your husband put everything together,
Yeah.
he didn't
Here
type...
comes. Wait a minute.
Wait.
I will preface his statement by saying, "Here comes something harebrained."
No,
Go ahead.
And I will predict that when I say this, my brother will say, gee, that's right.
Well, let's see.
Huh? When your husband put everything together, he did not sufficiently tighten a hose clamp.
You're kidding.
And what's your...
Gee, you know, That could be what you're hearing. You could be. Wait a minute. Mark this day on the calendar. This is a significant event.
You know,
Right,
I became
Cheryl,
one.
I want you to know, Cheryl, that is she our 1 millionth listener? You are witnessing a rare
Well,
occurrence.
my brother is agreeing with me, and I just want you to know that the way I know this is, as she made that noise, I went into a quasi-automotive trance condition, and I became one.
Can we do something about
with
that lump?
with that noise. Yes, master. and I could
do it
just,
again?
and I became one with that noise, and I could see the little vapor squeaking by the hose going.
Right. What you're hearing first is the coolant boiling a little bit because you've
Blop, blop,
reduced the
blop,
pressure. There's not sufficient pressure in the cooling system to elevate the boiling point. And then you're hearing the steam escape, and it must be one of the top hoses. It's the top radiator hose, or it's the neck with a hose connects to the radiator, which your husband probably removed in a fit of rage when he had to do this job on this old junk box. That's what it is. He twisted that thing, and he loosened the neck, and you're hearing that.
And next time
steam
it
escape.
happens, have your husband just be there, open the hood, and he will stick his ear in there and he'll say, "My God, it's this one right here." He'll tighten it with maybe a half a turn of the screwdriver, and it will never happen again.
You're kidding.
Cheryl,
I want a picture of Sonja Henie.
My father-in-law was Sonja Henie's skating partner.
What?
Yes.
really?
So you have
Yeah.
a sort of a personal picture of Sonja Henie
Oh, absolutely.
with your father-in-law?
Yeah.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not kidding.
What was your father-in-law's name?
His name is Buff McCusker.
Buff.
Buff.
Did he skate?
And the buff?
Oh, I mean, was he buck naked?
He was in movies with her.
No kidding.
No kidding. And yeah, he was her skating partner and went on tour with her, and she chose him actually to be her skating partner.
Wow.
Because I guess he
Sonja
was-
Henie's
Tutu.
tutu. Isn't this, Cheryl, not only
You've made our day.
have you made our day, but I trust we've made yours too with this simple-minded answer to your difficult question.
And it takes a simple mind
It does
to come
indeed.
up with a simple-minded answer.
You know,
Hey,
scientists say that we really only use about 10% of our brains. And when my brother answers a question, it's never more evident than what he does, right?
hey, good luck, Cheryl. And I want the picture.
Okay, I'll send it to you.
All right.
Thanks for calling.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
1-888-CAR TALK or 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
This is Nick in Columbia, South Carolina.
Hi, Nick.
How you doing?
Oh, just wonderful, except for about to roast.
Yeah?
Anyway, I have a 1980 Pontiac Sunbird.
Really?
Yeah. It's a fine little car. It'll go from 0 to 60 in about 4.5 minutes. But when you're driving down the road, though, there's a clunking, banging, sounds like Godzilla underneath the car beating with a sledgehammer type sound. And I'm trying to figure out, I've jacked it up and, like, checked for loose ball joints and A-frame bushings and all that good stuff.
But does it sound like it's coming from right underneath you or in the engine compartment?
It sounds like it's coming from the right front.
Right front.
So as you go down the road, you get this blah, 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 blah.
No, it's more like bam, kabam, kabam.
Oh,
Does it happen when you hit bumps or just as you're driving along on a smooth road?
there are no smooth roads in Columbia.
Yeah, we have no smooth roads in South Carolina. Even just on a regular road, it'll
On a
do
regular
it.
road. You're driving along and boom, 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 bang, bang.
Yeah. And like if you go to jack the car up, it'll do it once. If you stand there and jump up and down on the fender, it won't do it. I tried riding on the hood of the car to see if I could locate the sound better. It wouldn't make a sound when I tried that.
Who was driving?
He was driving.
My wife was driving.
Your wife. Did she slam on the brakes and laugh a lot?
Yeah.
So you can get the noise when you jack
When you
it up.
jack it up, you can get it to clunk once.
I
Yeah,
love it.
It's
clunk
very
once.
good. Hold on a minute. We're going to get it now.
Oh, I know.
That's a
I think I
great
know. I
clue.
think I know what it is.
You do?
Yeah, you're gonna like this, Nick.
You don't? What?
No. I think you have a cracked frame.
Oh, boy. You think so?
I think so.
Okay.
Okay.
This car is kind of looks like maybe would you call it a unibody type construction maybe?
Well, it used to be unibody. Now
No,
it's
it's half body. Yeah. Is it pretty rusted?
No, not
No.
really.
No, but it's not. The crack is not from rust; it's from fatigue. And this thing has a cradle that holds the engine and transmission.
Yeah.
And I bet you that cradle someplace is cracked. That subframe is cracked, and that's what the noise is.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Well, what you're going to have to do is to stick your arm underneath the car while someone else jacks it up and try to locate, either by feel or by sound or whatever, where the snapping noise is coming from. And then then you'll find out where the crack is, and then you can junk it.
Then I can junk it?
No, you can get it welded.
You have it welded. Sure.
But it's fixable. But I would refrain from driving it very much until you get it fixed because.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds a
First,
little.
I was thinking if it was something major, it would have gone ahead and fallen apart.
Well, it may be getting ready to fall apart. That's why I wouldn't drive it anymore.
Okay.
But get it looked at because it has
It's
the potential
dangerous.
to be dangerous.
Yeah.
Okay.
See you, Nick. Good luck.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks
pleasure.
for calling, Nick.
You guys have a good day.
You too.
Bye.
Hey, look, I got to ask. Do you remember the puzzler from last week?
No. Do you remember what I had for dinner last week?
No, but come on, that's not fair.
What do you mean?
There's no comparison between my puzzler and your dinner.
Sure there is. Apparently they're both very forgettable.
Well, maybe, I guess. Well, anyway, the puzzle was about a word with a very curious property, and we'll have all the details, of course, and more of your car questions in just a minute, so please don't go anywhere.
I've got a straight stick of real candy apple ready for got a beauty around the corner. It's a straight stick of real candy apple ready for hey, 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 look at me go, yeah. When I shove it in the Lord, hey, man, I really go. When I go to second gear, well, then I really tell. When I shove it in the heart, hey, man, I really fly. Hey, 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 look at me go. I got a paid carburetor, got a 3-water can, got a fuel injector, I got a blower too, a supersonic motor that just won't quit. Got a pile of lies and then I'm moving with. That's in my straight stick of real stick candy apple ready for yeah, that's my mama. Straight stick of real stick candy apple ready for
And even though road paving crews throw their radios under the grader whenever they hear us say it, this is NPR.
We'd like to say a quick thank you to one of our sponsors who brings you the following message. Better World Club, the nation's only eco-friendly auto club. Now, I know one of these days you're going to break down. How do I know that? Well, it's easy. You're taking car advice from Car Talk. So before that happens, there's roadside assistance from Better World Club. Car Talk fans can save 20% by going to betterworldcartalk.com and using the top secret code that we've printed there for everyone to see. Hi, we're back. You're listening to Car Talk with us, Click and Clack, the Tappert Brothers, and we're here to talk about cars, car repair, and, of course, the answer to last week's puzzler, which evidently was very forgettable.
It was, yes.
And this comes from a friend of ours who runs, for lack of a better term, a small business in our fair city. Okay, he's a loan shark, but... And he came across a word that had a very interesting property one day when he was doing some paperwork.
Oh.
The property is this. This word has 3 consecutive double letters. That is 3 consecutive sets of double letters. I'll give you a couple of words that almost qualify but don't. Okay, for example, the word committee. C-O-M-M-I-T-T-E-E. Now, that's got 3 sets of double letters.
Not consecutively.
But they're not consecutive, so that's out, right?
Yeah.
Well, how about Mississippi? M-I-S-S-I-S-S-I-P-P-I. And that word works except for all those damn I's. But there is one pretty common word that qualifies.
Yeah, and I know what it is.
And there are a handful of totally obscure words, of course, but we didn't use the web. You know, we could have done that, but we just used our intellects. Memories. So we're looking for that commonly used word that has 3 consecutive sets of double letters, and the question is, what is it? And the word is bookkeeper, or bookkeep, or bookkeeping. B-O-O-K-K-E-E.
Yeah.
Pretty good, eh?
Very, very good.
Someone sent in good deed, but that's not one word.
No.
And the Scrabble crowd sent us like heel loop, hoof-footed and veneer room, but bookkeeper is our answer.
That's right.
And
It's better
we're-
than any of those stupid
Yeah,
other
and you,
ones.
by the way, I mean, you can't go using the internet to solve these puzzles.
Of course. What else?
Well, it's like sitting down and doing a crossword puzzle with a crossword puzzle dictionary sitting next to you.
Yeah.
It's like you've given up on life. You might as well start wearing sweatpants.
We're asking you to think.
Bingo. Do we
I
have
don't
a,
know how. It hurts so much. My head just hurts so much.
do we have a winner?
Yeah, we do have a winner. It's Chuck Yates from Pulaski, Virginia. And for having his answer selected at random from among all the correct answers that we got, Chuck is going to get a $26 gift certificate to the Shameless Commerce Division at cartalk.com, with which Chuck could get any of our fine Car Talk CD collections.
I didn't realize we had any fine CD collections. I thought they were all more or less like our show, like lousy.
Well, it's artistic license. Give me a break, will you?
Fine.
Fine.
Fine already. Look, stay tuned for our new puzzler coming up in the third half of the show. But right now, if you have a call, we're here, 888 Car Talk. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
This is Herb Harris here in Laguna Hills.
Herb.
Yeah,
Laguna Hills.
I really enjoy your program. Listen to it as much as I can.
That's like west of here, right?
Slightly, yeah.
Okay.
Sounds like it should be like in Michigan.
Southern California.
Yeah, I know where that is.
Well, I got a little question for you, fellas.
Sure, go ahead.
I've got this 1987 Chrysler New Yorker, and I recently had the catalytic converter replaced, and immediately thereafter, the turbo starts to whine like a siren.
Yeah.
And I asked my mechanic about it, and he said that's because your catalytic converter had been clogged up before, and now that it's free, you don't have that exhaust pressure buildup, and so your engine is developing its full power, and it's normal. Is it normal to have this whine on the turbo?
Well, is it normal? No. Is his explanation valid?
I like it.
Maybe complete bunk. But it.
Oh, no.
It's possible. I mean,
Maybe. But it's got some. It's just close enough that it could be right.
Now, the reason you had the converter replaced is that the car would no longer climb hills?
No, as a matter of fact, it was making a lot of noise in the catalytic converter, and I thought it was ruined, and it needed to be replaced. And it turned out that when we took the old one off, there was a socket from a socket wrench inside of it.
No kidding.
Oh, so it was just rattling around, and you, in fact, thought that the honeycomb was falling apart.
Right.
Sure.
The car is performing beautifully, but it makes this awful sound. And I asked the mechanic what to do about it. He said, turn your hearing aid down.
Well, let's go back to the socket. Was it a snap-on socket?
Yeah, and it was in there probably for about 6 months or so when the engine was replaced.
Right. They must have dropped it into the pipe.
They probably dropped it into
that's
the
why
pipe.
they always teach you at school to put a rag in those pipes so you don't drop things in there like your socket wrenches or your glasses. Was it still intact? I mean, was it still usable, or was it all melted?
No, it was not melted. It was kind of burnished, and I've saved it as a souvenir.
Yeah, good.
If I ever go back to that shop, I'll show it to the mechanic.
Yeah, you'll find the guy who's missing that socket. And
So-
you'll say, you knucklehead.
So your mechanic's explanation of the turbo now sort of falls apart because there really wasn't anything wrong with the catalytic converter.
That's correct.
Well, I don't know.
Well, there
Well-
wasn't. I mean, the socket wasn't restricting the exhaust flow. I think it's just coincidence.
I do, too.
And I think it's time for your turbo to start making noise.
Well, it's a relatively new turbo. The engine, and the turbo were replaced just about a year ago. They had to be replaced because in another shop, when the car was in for an oil change, they ran the engine after they drained the old oil, but before they replaced it.
Oh, so they ran it without oil.
They ran the engine without oil, and so they replaced the engine and the turbo.
Oh, they did. That
Yeah.
shop did.
The shop did.
Well, we don't know that they actually replaced the turbo, do we?
No, we don't know it for a fact.
You know, I mean, if it were I and I'm sitting there in a dark shop that no one is near, and I've just replaced an engine, and I say, do I have to rebuild and replace the turbo? Who's going to know if I don't? I just put the old one back on.
Right, Herb's not going to know.
How's Herb going to know?
He's an old geezer.
He's an old geezer, and his hearing
That's
aid
right.
doesn't work anyway.
Because the paperwork shows that they did it.
Well,
Oh, yeah, of course. No, I suspect. I don't know whether they replace it or not. I agree with my brother that it's a complete coincidence that the catalytic converter had nothing to do with the thing whining away, and if it's really making, it's going like.
It's like a siren.
Well, if the noise is driving you nuts, I would go back to this first guy and offer to trade him the socket for a new converter, for a new turbo, rather.
That's a good idea.
Oh, it'll run for a long time whining. It'll make you nuts, though.
Unless you turn your hearing aid down.
Well,
and at some point, it will cease.
Is it just the sound of the gas going through there? It's not the bearing.
Oh, it's the bearing.
Oh, no, it's the bearing.
Oh, it is the bearing.
It's the bearing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's why it's going to seize up one of these days, and it's going to stop spinning.
And that's why we suspect that they didn't replace it, because if it was starved for oil, too, when they ran it without oil in it, they could have damaged the bearings, and then when they didn't replace it, that's why it's making noise now. But what do I know? They may have put in a faulty, rebuilt one. But I would go back to them, and if they're decent guys, you know, I mean, anyone can make a mistake, but if they're good guys, they may give you another turbo.
Well, that's pretty good advice, and I really enjoyed talking to you guys.
Thanks, Herb.
And as I say, I'm going to continue to enjoy listening to you.
Thanks, Herb. See you later.
So much.
Thanks
Bye-bye.
for calling.
Bye.
1-888-CAR Talk or 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
My name's Anita, and I live in Edmonds, Washington.
Anita.
Well, actually, everybody calls me Neater.
Neater.
Yeah.
Neater and Edmonds, Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Got ya.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, my husband and I have been having this long debate, and it reared its ugly head again last week. We were out running errands on a Saturday.
Debate. You call it a debate. I'm going to use that.
Oh, okay. We were running errands last Saturday, and one of the things I needed to do was gas up my car. So I got out of my car, and I turned off the engine because by law I have to do that.
Right.
However, we were listening to Car Talk at the time, and I wanted to hear Car Talk.
Yeah.
So I turned the accessories back on.
Yeah.
And my husband says I can't do that. He says that that's a dangerous thing. He says he hears that if you're not supposed to use a cell phone when you are gassing up your car, then how can having the accessories turned on the car be as safe? And I'm saying I meet the letter of the law because I turned off the engine.
You did turn off the engine, and you did. They say not to use the cell phones. Now, you would think that we would know something about how all this technology works, but I mean, there is the same technology. It's radio waves. And the difference is that your radio in the car is receiving the waves, and the cell phone is sending the waves. And if I had to make a decision about this, I would say that it's perfectly safe to leave the accessories on and listen to the radio. She loved it.
See, Bob passes it off as he's worried about my personal safety, and I think he's just trying to be annoying.
I think he just doesn't like Car Talk.
There you go.
This is a chance for 5 minutes of peace and quiet.
Turn that noise off.
But, I mean, I have to say, that's my wild guess. I have no knowledge other than what I just gave you about any of this. And I'm trying to think of what could happen in the accessories position.
Well, in the accessories position, you're worried about fire?
Well, why did they tell you to turn the engine off?
Well, the primary reason is so that some knucklehead doesn't put the thing in drive and drive away with the nozzle stuck in the. That's the primary. That is the primary.
Which would be a large expense to the gas station.
Yeah, not to mention the fire hazard. I mean, if the nozzle is stuck in your tank, and let's say that you're gassing the thing up, and your dog, for example, shifts the thing into drive or reverse or whatever, you could imagine how calamitous that could be. You know, so that for obvious reasons, they want the thing in park or whatever, or in neutral, and they want the key off. But putting it in the accessory position really just sends a current to the radio. It allows you to run the accessories in the power windows. What possible danger could that be?
Everything else, I mean, for example, if it was purely the flow of current that they're trying to stop, they're not doing that anyway, because if you open the door, the dome light goes on. If you open the trunk, the trunk light goes on.
And in the accessory position, the fuel pump isn't even going to run.
No. So I would guess, and it is a guess, so when your car blows up, don't come running to me, Neater.
Well, I have a feeling if my car blows up, I won't be running to much of anybody.
You won't, probably.
And hopefully your heirs will not have heard this show.
Right, but we're with you, and tell your husband to suck it up and listen to the show. Maybe you'll learn something. No one else has, but he might. See you, Neater.
Hey, good question, Neater. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye. 888-CAR Talk. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hello. This is Ryan from San Diego, California.
Hi,
How
Ryan.
you doing?
Well, I have a super rusty 88 Honda Civic,
Uh-huh.
and about 6 years ago, I took her down into Mexico, and my buddy and I were surfing, and we were about probably 60, 70 miles off-road.
While you were down there, did you have the dashboard covered in fur?
No, dirt.
Oh, man, they do a nice job.
Dirt.
there.
Yeah, they cover with dirt.
Fur grows naturally on my dashboard. I don't have to get it.
They got
get it
these
applied.
guys roaming the streets, and they'll fur any part of the car that you want.
Oh, wow.
The dashboard, the steering wheel, the roof. Yeah, so what
Anyways,
happened?
while we were down there, we were super far off-road, kind of in the middle of nowhere, and we already had 2 flat tires, and everything was breaking. And the muffler fell off, and I had to hacksaw off the exhaust pipe. And, we were just kind of surviving. And I looked at the car. We crossed even a couple streams. And I said, the car was kind of dying. And, I told her, look, if you get back to the border, then it's either you or me. One of us will go first. But, I'll stay with you till then. Anyways, some time's passed, and she's gotten even more rusty. And she's run just perfectly since then. I mean, just going into the shop maybe once a year just for something minor.
Also, you think the car became more appreciative after this little...
Oh, there's no doubt. But the problem is that recently a couple things happened which led me to start thinking that maybe we were going to go at the same time.
Oh.
First one is flat tires, so I put on a new wheel, but the tire's bigger than the other tires.
No good.
That's dangerous?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'll fix that.
Okay.
Second one.
So when you get the tire off, like a Buick?
No, it was a spare we had for a number of years for more trips into Mexico, and I just never put it on until the other one went flat.
Oh, yeah, that's no good.
Oh, oops. Okay. The other one, the muffler fell off, so I shoved it back on and tied it up with ropes.
Well, that's good, except ropes will burn.
Yeah, they've held on for about 3 weeks now.
Wire is what's recommended.
That's what we used in Mexico the first time. So, all right, I'll throw that on.
Yeah.
Third thing, whenever I fill the gas tank more than halfway, it smells like gas in the cabin. So should I just not fill it halfway?
Don't fill it halfway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, this sounds like this car is on its last legs.
No way.
No.
She's going to run forever. It's just, she's got these little cosmetic things.
Well, it happens to people as well. I mean, you don't have the same capabilities when you're an old geezer as you had when you were a young stud, so to speak. And doesn't mean you have to throw it away, right?
No,
Right.
it means
I
you
mean,
have
I
to...
used to be able to run 10 miles.
Now he can't drive 10 miles.
I can't even see 10 miles.
Falls asleep at the wheel.
Up in the snow up there with the fuzz on your dash.
With the fuzz, yeah. Well, I think, right, you have to, when your car gets old, you have to reassess its capabilities.
Sure.
And it's probably made its last trip to the remotest regions of Mexico.
Yeah, she's pretty much just a workhorse now. She lugs around boats and boards and things.
Yeah,
so
great.
She's a town car now.
Don't forget, this guy lives in San Diego. It's always warm. Car breaks down. What do you care? You're going to die from the snow?
If the battery goes dead, you could jumpstart this with a couple of flashlight batteries.
Ah, you push it 5 feet, it'll start.
How about rust? Is rust a problem?
No, for us, no, hardly.
Well, I mean, if your car has got a lot of rust, then you got to really worry, actually.
More rust than you can imagine. In fact, the window, they just replaced it, and it took me about 2 weeks to find anyone who was willing to put a new window in.
Well, I hate to tell you. I mean, that's really dangerous. I mean, you may not think it's dangerous, but what happens is if the whole thing is really rusting away.
I can put my fist through some of the holes now.
Yeah, that's bad. Because the car now is mostly air.
Right.
And the frame then is mostly air. And the trouble with that is if someone hits you,
right,
the car will just
disintegrate.
It'll be gone.
So the car is not offering you any protection.
Yeah.
It didn't offer you much to begin with.
I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah, and it's only a Civic to begin with. And if you now take away what little metal it had, I would say I would be really careful about this. I would dump it.
Yeah, so you should at the very least have someone put it up on the lift if you can find someone courageous enough to do that, and really assess how bad the floor pan and the frame rails are.
Okay.
I mean, cars have been known to split in half.
And then you can wind up with 2 cars.
Because of
That'd
rust.
be pretty funny, though.
Well, it might not be funny on the freeway.
No, well,
Yeah, stay around town with it until you can get it checked out because it could be dangerous.
All right, so new wheel, chicken wire, etc.
And junkyard.
And that order.
Okay.
Good luck.
See you,
Thanks
Ryan.
for calling.
All right,
bye-bye. Hey, Tommy, according to our latest contract, it's time for us to take another little break.
Hey, that's good. That's a nice little benefit you negotiated for us. Another break. I like it.
It's not a benefit for us. It was demanded by the listeners. We'll be back with a brand new puzzler in just a minute, so stay tuned.
And even though news colonies approve the temporary use of earmuffs whenever they hear us say it, this is NPR.
Hey, I'm Kelly McEvers, and Embedded is back. And we recently realized it's hard to assess a politician who has virtually no political record. But with Donald Trump, we tried anyway. And we wound up with stories and lessons from the record he does have in business and on TV. Listen on the NPR One app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Ha! We're back. You're listening to Car Talk with us, Click and Clack, the Tappert brothers, and we're here to talk about cars, car repair, and of course the new puzzler. And
I can hardly wait.
And the germ of this puzzler was, well, this puzzler actually was sent in by Ben Hayes, and he says it's a true story. Well, it was probably until I monkeyed around with it. You know. So it's based on a true story.
Okay, I'm with you.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
I was in the market for a new car a few years ago, and I decided early one Saturday morning to go do it. I wanted a Toyota Corolla, and who wouldn't, considering their stellar reputation and all that. So with that in mind, I headed for the biggest, baddest Toyota dealership in the county. They'd have, I figured, the best selection and probably the best prices too, right?
Yeah.
So I pulled up to the dealership in my clunker, and a salesman, sensing an easy sale, met me in the parking lot, practically tripped over himself to get to me. And while he was pumping my hand vigorously, I told him that I wanted a new Corolla with AC and power steering. The color didn't really matter, but I wanted a manual transmission. You do? Yeah, I do. Geez, we don't sell manuals at all. I mean, practically all the cars we have are automatics. We may have one or two on the lot, but, and I sense he was trying to get rid of me, but our computer system is down this morning, and the only way to find one is to go out and into the lot and walk up and down the rows. So I said, let's go for it.
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't believe how many Corollas they had. Together we walked down a long row of Corollas. When we looked to the left, there was a sea of rear bumpers and tailpipes. And when we looked to the right, more Corollas, these showing off their headlights and grills.
Yeah.
While I leisurely walked between these two rows of cars, the salesman bounced from one to another, looking in the windows to see what kind of shifter each car had. And he tried to do it pretty efficiently in that he would stand between two cars and he'd look in the driver's window of one car and he'd look at in the passenger window of the other car. So he was kind of killing two birds with one stone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he'd run in front of me and run to the cars parked on my right, and he'd do the same thing, back and forth. I, on the other hand, never got closer than, say, 15 feet to any of these cars, and from my vantage point, there was absolutely no way I could possibly see into any of them. Yet at one point I said, "Oh, there's a stick shift." The salesman walked up to it and said, "You're right."
How did you know that?
How did you know that? And the question was, how did I know that? Now, if you think you know the answer,
wow,
etch it on a 1954 Gilbert & Barker Model 914 antique gas pump with twin dispensers, historically correct enamel paint, new hoses, vintage Gilbarco nozzles, porcelain pump signs and globe, and a 15,000-gallon underground storage tank filled with regular unleaded, of course, and send it to Puzzler Tower, Car Talk Plaza, Box 3500, Harvard Square, Cambridge.
Our fair city.
Matt 02238.
Or you can email us your answer from cartalk.com.
Right now, if you have a car question for us, we're at 888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is David calling from St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi, David.
David, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And how are you chaps?
Excellent.
Well, I have a little problem.
Yeah.
I have a 1980 Mazda RX-7 with 125,000 miles on it with the original Wankel rotary engine.
Yes.
And you need to know the color.
Not yet, but I'm sure it's red.
I'm presuming it's black.
Well, It's sort of various shades of brown.
Brown. We call that rust.
Yes. That's
okay.
what we call it in this part of the world, too.
Yes, okay.
Now, the car has what I believe you call a manual choke, one of those knob doohickeys that you have to pull out.
And it feeds in automatically. It shuts down automatically.
Yes, well, it used to.
Right.
Oh, now it doesn't.
Well, now it doesn't. And about 4 months ago, in fact, the choke knob simply refused to stay out when the car was cold.
Okay.
And so what I have taken to doing, I went down to the basement. And
Sounds like a perfect case for a shim.
Well,
a
actually,
clothespin.
I used a clothes peg, exactly. So I went down to the basement. I got a clothes peg and stuck it on the choke knob. And, of course, now the thing stays out.
Yeah. And
right.
And you've left it there all these months.
And I do remember when the car warms up, I do remember to take it off.
Good.
But it's awfully embarrassing whenever I go in to get the car inspected or something like that I have to explain to the mechanic when he warms up the engine that he has to pull out the choke knob and stick on this clothes peg.
Yeah.
But anyway, the question I have for you, well, actually, it's a two-part question.
Yes.
Part one is, am I doing the car any harm by doing this?
That's part one.
Well,
okay.
maybe.
Wait a minute. Don't answer part one until we know what part B is. Any harm? I'm writing this down. Is there any harm? And what part B?
Part B is, should I bother to fix it? And how much would it cost? And is it worthwhile given the age of this car?
Okay, you want us to elaborate on all these?
Yes,
or just
I
give
guess
you
there
the
is
no-no?
also a third part, which is, why won't the choke stay out?
That would be part Roman numeral 3.
That's the one.
Well, we'll answer that one first. It's because the mechanism is broken.
Yeah, it's a little ratcheting mechanism.
And while this thing...
Actually, it probably isn't ratcheting. It's a little... it grabs.
Well, this thing has an electrical component to it because that's what...
It does.
That's what pushes the choke back in.
Oh.
If I'm not mistaken.
So this is not a thermostat or something like that?
It almost doesn't matter because the answers to your first two questions are no and no.
Well, I don't know. First of all, I have no idea why they ever designed a choke like this that was part mechanical, part manual, and part automatic.
The reason that they did it is because if many people, first of all, even in 1980, there weren't very many manual chokes around. So most people were not used to using a manual choke. So they were afraid that if people did use the manual choke, most people would forget to push it back in. If you forget to push it back in, the engine ends up running very, very rich, and you build up all kinds of carbon in everything.
Then why bother to put a semi-manual choke on it?
Exactly, but why they decided to do that, I don't know. But that's why they decided to make it go back in by itself.
So it sounds like what you're telling me is that if I use my clothes peg and remember to take it off when the engine warms up,
yes,
I'm probably in good shape.
Yes, if you actually remember most of the time to take off the clothes peg, as you call it, then there's no reason whatever to fix it. In fact, it has a certain charm the way you do it.
Yes, it also serves as a sort of a cunning anti-theft mechanism.
That's right, because it will never start.
It's rather low tech, but
Exactly.
it works. Not that anybody would ever want to nick my car anyway.
And no one would ever figure out that there's a choke anyplace.
Right.
Exactly. You're absolutely right.
Well, I would certainly go to the Mazda dealer to at least have them look at it to see if they can fix it for $50 or $100.
Okay.
If you can fix it for $100, fix it.
I wouldn't. I think you're doing a great
Although
job, David.
the clothespin is rather charming, but I would just make one improvement. I would taper it. Okay, so you can get degree of chokiness.
Yes. So when the engine is sort of semi-warm, you can
slide it halfway
slide
down.
It halfway. That would be nice. Yep.
Excellent idea.
Yeah, well, I knew you'd like it. I could tell.
You're an enterprising chap, David.
Thanks for your call.
Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for calling. Bye-bye.
1-888-CAR Talk or 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
This is Amy Johnson, and I live in Keller, Texas. I've got an interesting problem with my Isuzu Rodeo, or actually two Isuzus. If I drive down a particular street, I lose complete power.
You or the rodeo?
Well, I guess the rodeo does.
Okay.
There's a huge weather ball, or it looks like a huge golf ball that is on the side of the road. It's got a fence around it, and it's on top of this little building, and it's got an FAA marking.
Oh, man.
If I drive on the side of the street that ball is, my car completely dies.
I love it.
And if you just coast on through, and it'll finally, you have to steer your way off the road. You can finally start it again and keep going.
But you must restart it. It won't start up by itself.
Oh, no. Yeah, you
That's
have
my
to
question
restart
exactly. That would have been interesting.
That would have been.
That would have been really interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I tell you what, it's not just my car either.
Is there a sign there that says
Area 51?
Where the heck is Keller, Texas?
It's kind of a suburb of Dallas-Fort Worth.
So you started to say your car is not the only car that exhibits this strange phenomenon?
No, because the first time it happened, it completely died, and I pulled in next to there's a fire station right next to it. And I pulled into it, and I called my girlfriend. She drives an Isuzu Trooper.
Yes.
She came to get me, and she said, well, why don't you try it again? So mine started, and I started driving away, and I looked in the rearview mirror, and she wasn't behind me.
Oh!
So I called her on her cell phone, and she said, well, mine just died. Hold on. And she started again, and it started, and I had started to turn around and go get her, and she's like, no, go back, go back.
This is a classic case of RFI.
What does that stand for?
I don't know, but sounded radio frequency interference, electromagnetic waves coming out of this thing. Was there a guy standing in front of this saying "Gort Klatu Barada Nikto"?
No.
Did you ever see that movie, The Day the Earth Stood Still?
No.
She's too young.
Oh,
She's
Amy,
too
go
young.
to the video store and buy it.
Yeah.
Buy it.
Well, I mean, I'm curious to know if this happens to other vehicles as well.
Well, I tell you what, when we moved there, we wrote the city just to, find out a few things, and they answered us right back and, told us, that we were welcome and all that good stuff.
But don't drive on this street.
And stay off. What's the name of the street?
It's Keller Smithfield.
Keller Smithfield Street.
Oh, here's what I want you to do, Amy. You've got to do an experiment, and you're going to love this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what did the city tell you? Go ahead.
Well, they won't answer my email back on the weather ball question, so we're a little worried about what the heck that thing is.
I mean, you're calling it a weather ball. Yeah. God knows what it is. Is there any signage?
When you drive by, you can see that it has some FAA, little...
FAA. And at night, they change letters to CIA. Here's what you got to do. I know in Texas, when I used to live in Texas, we had a lot of Army surplus stores.
Okay.
And you can go there, for example, and buy yourself a complete camouflage outfit.
I love it. And Amy, count me in.
Me too. I'm getting a plane ticket right now. And what you've got to do is late at night, maybe like 3 o'clock in the morning, you've got to put this camouflage outfit on. Don't tell your husband or the kids or anything. And put this thing on, and you got to paint your face black and the whole bit. And you got to go on your belly, underneath the barbed wire. And you got to do a little recon on this thing, because this ain't no stinking weather station.
Weather my foot.
But here's what I was going to recommend. Buy yourself a roll of aluminum foil.
Ooh.
Okay? And here's the experiment I think I want you to
Wrap
do.
it around the distributor.
No, I want you to cover one fender of your car. When you're driving down the street, does it matter which direction you're going, whether or not the thing conks out?
Well, if I'm on the side that's closest, it always dies. Sometimes if I'm on the other side, the lights flicker.
All right, okay, great.
Lights flicker.
Oh, I love it. Here's what you do. You want to cover the right front fender, that is the passenger side fender, with the aluminum foil.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, and you don't have to tape it on with some masking tape or something, but I'm willing to bet if you do that, the car won't die. Because what you're doing is you're shielding the car's electronics from the radiation coming. Oh, did we mention it was radiation?
Radiation, good.
Don't get nervous. But we want to shield the delicate electron. We're not worried about you. But we want to shield the delicate electronics from this electromagnetic radiation. And I bet you if you do this thing with the tinfoil, you'll be able to drive through without a problem.
You weren't planning to have kids, were you?
Well, she loves to go down that road.
Oh, you got kids already? Well, good.
Yeah, don't take your kids.
Don't let the kids get on the road.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
That's
It would be nice if you did this experiment.
So every Monday when I drive down that road, I should decorate my car.
Well, at least once, and find out if in fact our theory works. Because if it does work, it's going to tell you that you need to have your computer shielded against electromagnetic interference, which is what's coming out of this spaceship.
And if it says FAA, that would make sense.
Is it hurting the computer in the car every time it happens?
It may.
Well, I see other people driving down it, so I'm just wondering if I need to get a new car.
Well, I mean, a new car would obviously solve it, but it wouldn't satisfy the scientific mind.
Well, I will try that. That'll be a fun little science experiment.
Send us a picture.
Well, I mean, how old is your kid?
She's 9.
Oh, she's gonna love
a
it.
science experiment?
Yeah.
This is it. Start writing it up now. She can take pictures of the truck with the aluminum foil on it. She's got her science project all finished.
There you go. She'll love it.
Yeah, she's guaranteed to make it to 10th grade.
Yeah.
Great.
See you later.
And
All right,
to
thank
K-Pax.
Good luck, Amy.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
Well, it's happened again. You've wasted another perfectly good hour listening to Car Talk. So those hours go by fast,
They
don't they?
certainly do.
Our esteemed producer is Doug the Subway Fugitive, not a slave to fashion, Bongo Boy Berman. Our associate producers are David the Calves of Belleville Green and Catherine Frau Blucher. There she goes. Fenolosa. Our web blackie is Doug the Old Gray Mare, assisted by Connie Britchford. Our theme music is by David Dog Grisman, and our technical spiritual menu advisor, just back from the Epcot Lobster Pot, Sauerbraten, Bergamot, Kumquat, and Panacot hit the spot, is John Bugsy Lawler. Our public opinion poster is Paul Murky of Murky Research, assisted by statistician Margin of Error. Our staff bicycle tester is Maya Sertz. Our anger management counselor is Tara New. No, never mind. Our political consultant is Mark Iavelli. Our Russian chauffeur is Peek Off and Drop Off. Our mother-in-law liaison is Stella Payne Diaz, who's married to our father-in-law liaison, Royal Payne Diaz, who are the proud parents of a teenage daughter, Sasha Payne Diaz, and an adopted son from Sweden, Bjorn A. Payne Diaz, and a brother in the military, Major Payne Diaz, and a 2-year-old Ariel Payne Diaz, a dog, Toto Payne Diaz, and a distant cousin in Mexico City, Jaime Royal Payne Diaz, and a recently discovered uncle from Warsaw, Zbigniew Payne Diaz.
That's the biggest family.
Yeah,
we're
gonna be accused of some kind of nepotism. We gotta.
No, none of them is our nephew.
Yet. And, of course, the head of our Working Mother Support Group is Erasmus B. Dragon. Our chief counsel from the law firm of Dewey, Cheatham & Howe is Hugh Lewis Dewey, known to the bow-tied pigeons in Harvard Square as Huey Louie Dewey. Thanks so much for listening. We're Click and Clack, the Tappert Brothers, and Don't Drive Like My Brother.
And, by the way,
yes,
don't drive like my brother.
We'll be back next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You can get a podcast of this show, which is number 1742, subscribe to our weekly podcast, and check out our taste-efficient clothing and best-of collections all over at cartalk.com. Also this week at cartalk.com, hey, are your car's ears burning? Want to know when people are discussing problems with your year, make, and model? Sign up for discussion alerts, and we'll shoot you an email whenever your very own car is the subject of moaning, groaning, or even better, solutions. Read only what you need. Sign up for our discussion alerts over at cartalk.com.
Car Talk is a production of Dewey, Cheatham & Howe and WBUR in Boston.
And even though Charles Darwin wonders, how'd these guys survive whenever he hears us say it, this is NPR.